What can you buy for 2 grand? A broken scooter? A rusty lawnmower? How about a full-size classic from the 60s or 70s waiting to roar again? 1. 1969 Chevrolet Impala, $1,500, Paxton, Illinois. Here's a 1969 Chevy Impala that's begging for a second chance. This one's a roller. There's no engine under the hood, and it's missing the front seat and carpet. The seller does include most of the rest of the interior, though. It's got a solid body overall, with the only trouble spot being where the vinyl top trim used to be. No major rot reported. Big issue? No title. The paperwork was lost in a fire years ago, and the DMV has no records, so it'll need to be bonded. At $1,500 cash or trade, this is an ideal base for a custom lowrider or street cruiser if you're up for the challenge of registration and a full drivetrain swap. 2. 1967 Buick Wildcat convertible, $1,800, Keokuk, Iowa. Next is this 1967 Buick Wildcat, an old-school full-size GM convertible with muscle car presence. It's powered by a 430 cubic inch V8, though currently that engine is locked up tight. The sellers tried ATF and other tricks to free it, but no luck. No title here either, so bonding will be required if you want to get it back on the road legally. It's also missing the windshield and soft top, though the top frame is still good. The car includes a back seat, some random buckets, lots of interior trim, and chrome. Could be a stylish boulevard cruiser again, or a rare parts donor. Asking $1,800 and may deliver if nearby. Three 1978 Chevy K20 body swap, 750, Tama, Iowa. This one's a bit of a Frankenstein project. At first glance, it's a 1978 Chevy C10 two-wheel drive body, but underneath, it's been converted to 3/4-ton 4x4 K20 running gear. It's powered by a rowdy 350 small block with an Edelbrock carb, and according to the seller, it's fast and a blast to drive. Still, this is very much a beater truck with quirks and issues, perfect for someone who wants to wrench on something and doesn't mind getting greasy. The seller's open to trades, especially for a daily driver. Think of this one as a backyard toy or a mud runner with personality. 4. 1971 Chevy Nova, $1,500, Granville, Illinois. If you've been looking for a Nova project but can't find a decent roller, this four-door 1971 might be worth a look. It's missing the drivetrain and seats, but otherwise appears complete. At just $1,500, it's a budget-friendly start to a sleeper build, a parts car, or even a resto mod project. Four-door Novas may not have the same muscle car status as the coupes, but they share the same platform and they're easier to come by. Bring a trailer and your vision for what it could be. 5. 1966 Plymouth Barracuda, $2,000, Bellefontaine, Ohio. Here's a 1966 Plymouth Barracuda roller that's priced right at the top of the list, $2,000 or best offer. The seller admits it's rougher than they were ready to take on. But if you're up for it, this is the early A-body fastback design with that big wraparound rear glass. The title's in hand, which already puts it ahead of some others on this list. A great start for a vintage drag build, rat rod, or restoration if you're a Mopar fan. 6. 1969 Ford Torino GT, $1,500, Sarasota, Florida. Coming in next is a 1969 Torino GT project with one owner history. This car's been sitting for a while, and the seller was originally planning a Pro Street build, but 3 years later, it's still untouched. There's a lot of exterior rust, but the floor pans and unibody structure are said to be solid. The engine isn't included unless the full asking price is met, but extras like an additional hood, grille, and front bumper are part of the deal. The title is currently MIA, though the seller claims to still have it somewhere. Buy assuming you won't get it, and maybe get lucky later. At $1,500, it's a solid candidate for a wild custom or restoration with muscle car DNA. 7. 1979 Lincoln Continental, 1800, Cloverport, Kentucky. Last in this batch is a big 1979 Lincoln Continental with a 400 cubic inch motor. It's a one-owner car that's been parked for several years. The seller suggests it might make a solid demolition derby entry or possibly could be put back on the road. There's not a lot of detailed info, but if you're looking for a giant 70s cruiser with presence, this one may be worth checking out. Open to trades for hunting gear, and they're asking $1,800 or best offer. 8. 1984 Dodge D150 long bed, $1,500, Montrose, Virginia. This 1984 Dodge D150 was the seller's father's truck, and while it's showing its age, it's reportedly still in fair shape. It comes with a slant 6 engine paired to a manual 3-speed overdrive transmission on the floor. The truck runs with gas and a battery, though expect to address minor issues like taillights. With over 220,000 miles on the clock, this long bed pickup is best viewed as a sentimental roller or restomod base. It's got the old school charm and mechanical simplicity of early Dodge trucks, ideal for a shop truck build or a vintage daily if you're up for some TLC. 9. 1980 Dodge D150 Shortbed, $750, Harrogate, Tennessee. If you're into square body Mopar trucks, here's a 1980 Dodge D150 Shortbed that could make for a cheap start. The seller's asking just $750 or best offer and is open to trades. It's powered by a non-running slant 6 and will need to be towed. While there's little additional detail, the body appears mostly intact from the images, and short beds are always in higher demand. With a clean title included, this could be a fun backyard project or donor truck for another build. For 10. 1965 Ford Custom 500, $2,000, Chadbourne, North Carolina. This 1965 Ford Custom 500 is a pretty clean shell for its age, with only about 5% rust according to the seller. It's missing the drivetrain, but otherwise reportedly 100% complete. The interior seats are intact with no rips or tears, and a seat cover over the back bench. There's no title, so you'll likely need to bond it if you want it street legal again. With its full-size body and clean lines, it would make a great sleeper build, cruiser, or vintage drag car. Asking $2,000 cash or trade. A 1978 Pontiac Phoenix, $1,250, Huntland, Tennessee. Here's something a little different. A 1978 Pontiac Phoenix, offered as a roller and already set up for a small block Chevy swap. The seller says it's solid for its age and would make a great restoration or race car project. As an Alabama vehicle, it's being sold on a bill of sale only. At just $1,250, this is a cheap way to get into a lesser-seen GM compact. With some wrenching and creativity, it could be a cool sleeper or even a vintage bracket racer. Oh, 12, 1978 Dodge D250 Club Cab, 1500 Galleon, Ohio. This 1978 Dodge D250 Crew Cab is a rare find in this price range. According to the seller, the cab and frame are in great shape and the rear body isn't bad either. It's currently not four-wheel drive, but the seller says they have all the parts to complete the conversion. There's no title, which complicates things a bit, but for $1,500, it's a strong candidate for a diesel swap or off-road trail rig build. Hard to beat the presence of a big 70s club cab Dodge for this kind of money. Thirteen, 1968-ish Chevy panel truck, $1,000. Lodi, Ohio, Last up is this mysterious 1968-ish Chevrolet panel truck. The seller doesn't have paperwork and there's no engine, so it's being sold whole for parts only. But if you're dreaming up a rat rod or wild custom hauler, this could be a great starting point. Classic panel trucks are hard to come by, and the big slab sides make for a killer canvas. The seller plans to clear out the contents before pickup. For $1,000, this one's all about vision and fabrication skill. Like what you saw? Hit subscribe for more forgotten legends and barnyard beasts. This is Kingna, where old metal never dies.